We turn now to a disability discrimination attorney who's suing the Denver County Court for violating the state's anti-discrimination law. That attorney is named Spencer Kontknik. He's deaf. He says he was excluded from jury duty because of that. Our 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor is with us now. So let's talk about what this suit is about and what laws they're suing under and what damages they might be seeking.
Right. So I think to start with, though, just a brief background on the facts, because it was fairly egregious. So he showed up. This is a practicing attorney. He's been deaf since he was 6 years old. He has the hearing aids, and he uses an interpreter when he's in court. Well, he showed up. He was summoned for jury duty. He showed up, and he was called. He was the first one waiting to go in. And the public defender and the DA said they entered into a stipulation with the judge saying, well, we thought it'd be tough on him, was all they said. They went on the record and said that. Then they came out and dismissed him in front of all the other jurors, and he literally had to walk away.
And simply because of the deafness, because of the difficulty of being deaf.
That's exactly right. And they actually had, the court is supposed to have interpreters there under their CART system.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah, which they did. They had the interpreter actually lined up, and the judge said, okay, we have you there. And the interpreter came in and she said, well, we thought it would be cool, but there's a stipulation, so the judge dismissed them. And it was based on, they thought it would be tough on Spencer Kontknik.
Well, first of all, how insulting and how embarrassing for him.
And that's,
but for anyone.
Yes.
Because, you know, to be a juror, but this is an attorney.
Exactly. And they didn't know that and that's what's so egregious. Had they even asked him and taken the time to say, well, can you serve? Is this, and the reality was they wanted to finish in a day. And it seems like, I read the complaint today, it seems like they were sort of pushing to move forward and they weren't sure they'd be able to finish in a day. But he does this regularly in court. Had they just asked one question.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about, because I think most people, when they're summoned for jury duty, go into a world they don't really understand other than TV shows, or maybe they've been called before and have a handle on what's going on. Spencer Kontknik knew the process. He knew when he was going in what this was going to be like, and I presumed that he presumed he'd be interviewed, that he would be asked, questions like most jurors are.
Exactly, and he knew the system so much that he actually had lined up the interpreter before he got there. So the judge started the day by saying, I see we have an interpreter, let's go. And then this public defender and DA said, we have the stipulation. And I think that's what's so egregious about it, is that no one questioned whether or not he even had any issues with the interpreter. And these are lawyers who, under the ADA and CATA, the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, this is a public setting. These are all public entities that acted this way. And there was actually a settlement. He actually started this process by going to the Colorado Civil Rights Division and asserted claims against the DA, the public defender, and the court. Well, the DA and public defender resolved it. They said, we'll do the training. They made donations to certain charities. It was the Denver County Court that said no. And so they wouldn't settle. And so now he's moving forward with the lawsuit.
And I think that, first of all, besides the fact that he's an attorney and he knows some has been violated, but he's doing this for a bigger purpose. That's
exactly right, because he's seeking to do his civic duty. I mean, we're one of the few countries in the world that has a jury system, and this is a beautiful opportunity for us as citizens to witness our system and to see that it's working. It's not an abuse of discretion. He was going out of his way to try and do that, and they prevented him without even a question.
Oh, 95% of people want to get out of jury duty.
I was thinking.
But it really is important that you want a jury that is like you, like all of us, men, women, people of different color, people of different faiths, and people with and without their hearing or their sight or whatever it takes to be able to execute the task.
Tom, that's a great point, and that's exactly, even though people don't like the jury system, it is so fundamental and important. It is our opportunity to participate, and we really should do that just to understand it. And here, that was the exact point he was making, was you may be, as a jury, deciding issues about disability, and you don't have anybody with any type of disability because the court, this public entity, excluded them. So
Yeah.
Well, this will be worth following up on even further now with the
Yeah,
Denver
you
County
want to know
Court.
what happens next.
yeah,
so.
they'll have to file their answer. This was just the complaint, but they had the transcripts, and it was a very compelling and well-written complaint. And so they'll respond, and we'll see what happens.
From there. All right, Whitney, it's always good to talk with you.
Sure
Thanks
thing.
again.